Thanks, dear viewers, for joining us on this edition of the news on Équinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. I am Babler Jonathan. In our top stories in this edition of the news, the Army Chief of Staff, General Claude Meka, says that the Northwest region is under the control of security and defense forces. He was speaking today in the town of Bamenda in the Northwest region, and he urged the soldiers to remain professional. In the meantime, Sisiku, Ayuktabe and other detainees of the Anglophone crisis continue appearing before judges in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. They were in front of judges of the Yaoundé or the Center Court of Appeal today, and the case was adjourned. General René Claude Meka, Army Chief of Staff in the Republic of Cameroon, has said that security forces are in control of the security situation in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon. He was speaking today in the town of Bamenda, headquarters of the crisis-hit northwest region of the country, and he urged the soldiers to remain professional in the discharge of their duties. He praised them for their bravery in the fight against terrorism, notably within the context of the 4-year-long armed conflict hitting the northwest and the southwest region of Cameroon. Yesterday, he was in the town of Buea in the southwest region. Derek Jato reports.
Cameroon Army Chief of Staff is here again in the southwest region. The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the nation, President Paul Biya, has sent General René Claude Meka on a mission to get in touch with the security realities in this war-torn region of Cameroon before coming to the 21st Motorized Infantry Battalion for the crucial meeting. His first stop point was at the Southwest Governor's office, and whatsoever was discussed there was not for public consumption. Then, to the 21st Motorized Infantry Brigade, and after being received here by Colonel Eyenga Severin, the commander of the 21st Motorized Infantry Brigade at the 21st Motorized Infantry Battalion, General René Claude Meka, Cameroon Army Chief of Staff, went straight into an in-camera meeting. And there, he must have been informed about the Ekona, Idiki, Matokumba, Ikiliwindi, Eshobi, and the Bialem separatist fighters, just to name but these, and their threat to peace. The ghost town tradition that in some towns is losing its fame, and the recent outing of the United Nations Humanitarian Affairs Officer for the Northwest and Southwest regions, telling the world that the situation in the Northwest and Southwest regions is worsening, and considering suspending United Nations activities if nothing is done. Today, observers hold that attacks and news of attacks are fewer now, and General René Claude Meka's remarks at the end of the day were positive.
No problem, no particular problem with the situation in the south. The situation is under control, and there is no special problem.
And to the military men and women at the war front here in the southwest region, their Army Chief of Staff gave them the word of encouragement.
Je peux même venir aussi tout simplement pour les féliciter quand ils travaillent bien, avec efficacité et professionnalisme.
Reminding them that they must keep it up for the nation's integrity.
Rejato reporting there. Still in the northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, the senior divisional officer of the Donga Mantum Division says his administrative unit, or better still, the administrative unit under his command, is not a hiding place for terrorists nor a conquered ground. According to him, he says that he has information that some separatist fighters escaped during the Ngok Bui operation to hide in the Bui division, and of course he says that some of them left from the Ngok Kutunja division and are now hiding in the Bui division. He warns the population against collaborating with separatist forces. For me, Armstrong Sander reports.
In Bui division, where some of these separatists have crossed the border into our unit.
Following the military crackdown on separatist activities in the Boy division, many of the separatists escaped and are seeking refuge in a safe Donga Mountain division, according to the senior divisional officer, Dr. Do Simon Quenti.
Some of them are still gripped by fear, but are taking refuge in some villages. But unfortunately, the populations do not seem to denounce them. Donga Mountain is not the conquered territory. Donga Mountain is a peaceful division, and we shall not harbor people who want disorder. We shall not harbor people who do not want peace.
Speaking during the Nkambe Council session and warning against collaborating with those he says escaped from a neighboring division, the senior divisional officer reiterated that the legendary peace of the Donga Mountain division be upheld by its people.
You are our parliamentarians at the grassroots. In your constituency, open your eyes, open your ears. If these boys are hiding there, we will want to flush them out. We want a Donga Mountain that is conscious of its peaceful nature, that is conscious of its rule.
The Nkambe Council 2019 Administrative Management and Stores Account session that took place at the Hall B of the Council Chambers also gave an opportunity for the Council executives to revise the Council's development plan and the economic empowerment of the Nkambe Urban Municipality. The program, with the aim to empower production basins in the municipality, saw the training of some 20 youths from Jab village on the production of plantains and banana suckers.
Back home now, at least I will try to see how our next plantains.
We would like to work the plantains in large quantities.
As part of efforts to bounce back from the negative economic impact of the over 3-year-old armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon, the hope of the Nkambe Council is to get each farmer be able to produce from 50 to 100 suckers per kum.
And the outgoing United States ambassador to the Republic of Cameroon, Peter Henry Ballerin, says that for violence or for hostilities to end in the crisis-hit northwest and southwest Anglophone regions of the Republic of Cameroon, both sides must stop immediately, must put an end to violence immediately and engage into discussions or dialogue without preconditions. Innocent has more.
The American diplomat Peter Henry Ballerin leaves Cameroon while the conflict in the northwest and southwest regions continues, with lasting solution yet to be reached in spite of the multiple calls launched by the American government. But the diplomat does not despair and thinks that to achieve end of hostilities, the violence on both sides must stop immediately. Both parties must engage in an open dialogue without preconditions. This means English-speaking separatists must abandon their condition of negotiating only for the separation of Anglophone Cameroon from the rest of the country. And the government must abandon its insistence that a change in the form of the states can never be envisaged. According to Peter Henry Ballerin, still, there is no military solution to the crisis, but the killings and the destructions could last a long time, and both parties will be responsible. He adds that United States governments and many individuals in the United States have offered to help facilitate the negotiations. Peter Henry Ballerin also says that they were pleased to see President Paul Biya order an investigation with non-governmental actors into the February 14, 2020 massacre of women and children in Garbu in the northwest region. He goes further to say they were also relieved to see President Paul Biya take the commitment to open an investigation into the death of journalist Samuel Wazizi. On a different note, regarding the recent statements of the CRM leader, Professor Maurice Kamto, on a mutual succession agreement at the helm of the state, Peter Henry Baleren considers that Maurice Kamto is a political leader of the opposition who merely expresses his concern, whether will or not, that the administration in place may seek to find a successor to President Paul Biya by means other than democratic. It is the right of an opposition leader to express his points of view. He concludes by saying Cameroon identifies itself as a democracy. As such, the Cameroonian people should be able to choose their leaders in free, fair and credible elections in accordance with their constitution.
Equinoxe reporting there. Now we talk about the Narrow 10. Sisiku Ayuktabe and other secessionist leaders detained in the nation's political capital Yaoundé were in court today. They were at the Center Regional Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal of the Center Region, and the case was adjourned to August 20, 2020, and the hearing today lasted for a very short period of time. It was a speedy hearing. We'll be coming back to that in greater details in the talking point today. Now to Kompina in the Mongo Division, littoral region of the Republic of Cameroon. Several persons have been rendered homeless by an accident, and a lorry transporting cement destroyed their house. Smanjik and Gabriel reports.
Inhabitants of Kompina, a locality in the Mongo Division, are astonished after a lorry dashed into an 8-room house. The lorry transporting cement was from Douala heading to Bafoussam in the West region. The driver says he was disturbed by another car, reasons why he fell off. The 8-room house that was completely destroyed was without its occupants. I don't even know where I will sleep again. The accident occurred in the early hours of Thursday.
See how they come. Cement were there for.
The cement on the vehicle was on one end of the car as the driver struggled to balance it. The owners of the house that was destroyed were not around.
The house has really broke off. Everywhere is scattered, so we don't really know how to do and to go about it. But they are still following up how they managed to solve the issue. So it's my father's house, so the place has really been damaged and the building too is damaged. It's just to rebuild a new place. With the people that were renting here, everybody, things have been damaged.
Without any death recorded, the only injured person, who was the lorry 8, is presently being hospitalized at a local hospital in Kompina.
Local authorities in Pete Banjul in the west region of the Republic of Cameroon have urged men of the underworld to stay away from recently constructed some projects that have been recently executed in that part of the country. And the call is coming at a time when some suspected individuals have pulled down some electric poles, notably along the road leading to the Fotso Victor Stadium in Banjul. Smanjik and Gabriel reports.
A solar energy roadside lamp on the ground and another about to be untied. This is the stretch of road leading to the Fotso Victor field in Pete Banjul, one of the training pitches for the African Nations Cup in Bafoussam. According to the head of this zone, the men of the underworld are at work.
Nous avons retrouvé un poteau solaire.
We met an electricity pole recently planted by the company in charge of the construction works on the ground. The pole was brought down by thieves. We decry this bad habit and are begging on the people to change and be good keepers of this good initiative, bringing development to our zone.
Qui ont été installés pour la CAN 2022.
Apart from the aspect of theft, inhabitants of this zone in Pete Banjun have also decided to throw their debt haphazardly, something which the quarterhead says it's causing blockage of water when it rains. This stretch of road leading to the Fotso Victor pitch has already been technically handed over to the government.
The Cameroon government is enhancing the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. Cameroon is now counting 13,728 people who have been successfully treated of COVID-19. 373 have died, and a total of 16,157 have been tested positive for coronavirus in the Republic of Cameroon. And these statistics emerge from the weekly interministerial committee meeting on the management of the COVID-19 pandemic, chaired by Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph John Kuti, and the government authorities also examined the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the agricultural production and trade sectors. Tomato farmers in particular have incurred a huge loss in income as a result of the closure of borders. The ministers of agriculture and trade presented a recovery plan which includes support to farmers, and Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph John Kuti urged authorities in the transport sector to finalize measures for the reopening of the country's borders to international air traffic. And the Lakentini Hospital now has an isolation center, a COVID-19 isolation center, which was inaugurated today alongside two others in the town of Douala by the Minister or the Secretary of State at the Ministry of Public Health in charge of epidemics and pandemics, Alim Ayato. Innocent as a first details.
Alim Hayatu, Secretary of State in the Ministry of Public Health, in charge of epidemics and pandemics, tours the Lakentini, Mbapelepe and Yassa COVID-19 isolation centers in Douala Littoral region. He is here to inaugurate and inspect if the three regional isolation centers are operational.
Les trois centres d'isolement que nous avons pris ici à Douala sont effectivement fonctionnels.
The three isolation centers are functioning effectively. We can now receive at least 500 COVID-19 patients.
500 personnes. Donc nous avons beaucoup de bâtiments et beaucoup de lits.
We have enough structures and rooms which are operational.
Mettons la main sur le bois, que Dieu nous porte.
We pray God helps us conquer this pandemic.
Voilà, pour que nous donnions un peu de satisfaction et sauvegarder encore la vie de certains de nos compatriotes.
Beginning his inauguration and inspection tour at the Douala Lakentini Isolation Center, Mr. Alim Hayatu expresses contentment of what he terms quality and well-equipped center, which will ensure handling of patients in good conditions.
On fasse le maximum pour que les malades soient normalement traités, correctement traités et dans de très bonnes conditions.
Same appraisal after visiting the Aqua Mbapelepe Isolation Center.
C'est un centre d'isolement qui est prêt.
This center is absolutely ready.
À plus de 30 lits d'hospitalisation, c'est-à-dire sous conditions oxygène nécessaires.
It has all the required equipment and facilities.
Non des toilettes volantes, non des toilettes mobiles, ce sont des toilettes fixes construites par l'État.
According to a staff at the Mbapelepe Isolation Center, they are ready to receive about 184 COVID-19 patients.
In this center, we have 184 beds to hospitalize 184 patients. The center will open it beginning of this month. So it's today that we are doing the final official opening. So from now on, we are expecting to have patients, at least 184 patients.
The Secretary of State in the Ministry of Public Health also visited the Yassa Isolation Center with at least 400 beds, declaring it fit to go operational. After inauguration of these 3 Douala isolation centers, Mr. Alim Hayatu announced that same exercise will proceed in other regions of Cameroon.
Cameroon's head of state Paul Biya appoints a new director at the helm of the International Relations Institute of Cameroon. In a presidential decree signed today, he named Ndongo Daniel Hubin as new director of IRIC. He takes over from Salomon Ehed, recently appointed Cameroon's ambassador to the United Nations Organization. Coming up, Immaculate Fogwe takes a look at the level of preparations ahead of official exams in Cameroon. She's going to take us to some schools here in Douala.
Of Inset College in Bonaberry, the Douala 4 subdivision, carrying out last-minute practical preparations ahead of the upcoming GCE ordinary and advanced level examination. During a tour in schools like Inset, Atlanta, Lycée Polyvalent, and Jason Shaw, all in the Douala 4 subdivision, a serene and calm environment is noticed, an indication that the students are cautious of the task ahead. According to some of the teachers, 3/4 of the syllabus had already been covered before the suspension of classes, making the students ready for the upcoming examination.
The teachers really did their work before even the program, the challenge came. Some of them have covered 3/4 of their work because we wrote the exam, the second term exam, before they even came in with the crisis. So with that one, when we resume after the 2 months, we develop a strategy where we are to start classes 7:30 right up to 4:50 in 2 shifts. But the effective point was that most of the teachers that have not covered their work, we gave them the priority.
Then students who were at home during this corona break that had difficulties in whatever area they had it, they came up with the difficulties. So about 3 weeks ago, revision started, and some teachers had to go as far as giving them tests again, doing some kind of catch-up revision classes for those who were not there. But
the teachers equally say sanitary measures have been put in place in order to ensure the strict respect of hygiene measures by both teachers and students in examination centers.
We are a center for baccalaureate, for probatoire, for BEPC. We have put all means to welcome all candidates. You know, this sanitary crisis, especially COVID-19, caused us a lot of problems. That is why we have put all means as far as sanitary measures have been taken. Especially, we have hand sanitizer, we have many buckets. I would like all students to come with masks because they can't enter in the center without their mask. We will put many buckets outside, so they have to wash their hands before entering the center. They have also the hand sanitizer and what they call thermoflash. So every morning we have to check up to see whether they are in good health.
According to officials from the Ministry of Secondary Education, the practicals will begin from July 20th to the 5th of August, while the written session will run from the 5th to the 25th of August.
We'll be coming back in greater details to the case of Sisiku Ayuktabe and the other secessionist leaders detained in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, who were at the Center Court of Appeal today. We'll be coming back to that in a subsequent news editions. Thanks for staying with us. Goodbye.